Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Dave coming to you from my office inside of the Wyoming house. And this is the video I promised you a couple days ago and talked about last night. This is my answer to the question, what does being a member of Team Freedom mean to me? So this video is really, these are my thoughts. These are my concerns. These are my ideas. And these are my summary of kind of the risks that we face, and it's pretty hard hitting. I just finished the writing. I'll warn you, it's 3 pages of notes, so it's probably gonna be a longer video. I didn't want to do this as part of a fireside chat. I did not want to do this as part of a, hey, this is what I'm smoking and why and all that. I think this is too serious a topic. I wanted to pay it true respect. I present this video to you out of respect for you, out of concern for our lives, our freedom, and our independence. It's hard hitting. Some of you are going to be offended by this. I don't intend that in any way. These are really my thoughts. But I think some of you are going to find my thoughts personally offensive. I ask you to give this video the courtesy of watching the entire video, and I mean all the way to the end before you comment on it. Some of you are going to hear some of my remarks and go, well, he's writing that about me, and I assure you, I am no single person in the YTPC, Team Freedom, or otherwise targeted. So if you hear something and it speaks, you think it's speaking directly to you, that's not my intention, but it might. So try to let that wash over you. And I'm going to talk about risks last in this video and give you some examples. So I'm going to go ahead and head into this. I admit I'm a little nervous putting out such raw, from my heart, from my gut content. But I'm going to do it anyway. So that's kind of the intro to my video. So we'll head into the content now. So why am I making this video? And why did I ask the question of you? What does it mean to you to be a part of this Team Freedom? I would like to know that still. I still put out that call for you guys to hopefully make a video about why this concept, why this Team Freedom concept has caught fire. And we have over 100 members in, what, a month, 2 months from concept to where we are today. Is I've sent out almost 100 badges, and I know Greg sent out 25. So there's the 125 right there. And every day I get more requests, which I respect, and I hope you continue to do that. I want you to ask for a badge. I want you to join this team. But here are the concerns I have, and why I made this call and why I'm making this video. So I'm just going to read them down to you. I'm concerned that most of us in Team Freedom may become badge holders only. I'm concerned that many of us make decisions from positions of fear. I think most people live in fear. And here are some examples of what I've gotten back from my videos that make me think that this is a larger part of our team than you might realize. I can't sign that petition. I don't want to get into trouble. I don't want to say this or that in a video or a comment because I don't want to get onto any list. I don't want to show weapons because I don't want people to know I have them. Hey, I wouldn't show your serial numbers. It might cause bad things to happen to you. I wouldn't show your cars. People will come and try to steal them. I wouldn't show your license plates because that might cause you trouble as well. And so those are all actual things I've gotten many times on my videos. And those are all fear comments. They come from a person who lives in fear of bad things happening to them. And I don't know if you realize that. I'm concerned that many of us are couch or chair potatoes, rarely leaving our homes. I'm concerned that many of us are essentially keyboard warriors, and we show our desire for freedom by typing in comments into videos. I'm concerned that many of us are cucked by the system already, and we've been cucked for so long, for many of us our entire lives, that we don't even realize we're cucked in making positions or making decisions from a position of fear of the system, and we don't even know that we live in that fear. I'm concerned that many of us are solely dependent on our government for our entire living, for our entire income. I'm concerned many of us are so afraid of our job that we won't take any risk. I'm concerned that the system has us both by both balls and don't even realize it. I'm concerned that many of us are afraid to speak out on our side of the conversation out of fear of being made fun of, or being labeled one of them, or being the only one talking that side of the position. I'm concerned that many of us believe my one vote, my one letter, my one testimony won't make any difference. So that's probably not everything. I mean, this is not meant to be an exhaustive video of all these things I'm talking about, but I just want to give you, so those are my thoughts of why I'm doing the video and why I put the call out for what it means to you. So my core beliefs about TeamFreedom membership, these are my core beliefs, mine. I'm not saying they have to be yours. It's not an exhaustive list, but it's what I've got over the last 2 or 3 days thinking about this. I don't mean them to be like yours are shit and mine are the right ones. I don't mean to say you should adopt mine, okay? But here are mine. There's like 6 or 7. That we harbor the desire to live free and to be independent. We harbor the desire to live free of fear. That we're willing to make life changes to maintain freedom. We're willing to take risks to maintain freedom. We have the realization that our silence is the foundation for the loss of our freedoms. And the last one is we desire to be a great ambassador of freedom and independence to those who haven't yet joined us. So the next thing I came up with was like levels of like commitment to the concept of freedom and independence. These are my thoughts. I made it up. I made these up. I made all 7 levels up. There's actually 8 because I have a level 0. And then kind of what each level means to me. And what I'm hoping to do is establish kind of a ladder that will inspire people to climb the ladder to more and more risk taking and more speaking out, more and more getting our side of the thoughts, getting our side of the arguments into the public eye. So level 0 is the first one, and that's we're thinking about asking for a badge. Because I know a lot of you that have asked for a badge said, God, I thought about this for a long time. I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't know if you're willing to give me one. I don't know if I'm worthy of one. So that's level 0. If you're sitting there watching this video and you're in level 0 and you're thinking about asking for a badge, I just want to say it again. Cut out a level 0 and make the request. I want you to do it. I want to send the badge to you. I want you to become a member of this community. So then level 1 is we receive the badge and make no other changes. None. That's what I would call sitting at level 1. Level 2 is take internal to our team. Take some risks internal to our team, right? I consider that low level risk. In my opinion, it's low risk to start taking risks inside of our community. Level 3 is get educated. And I have kind of 4 ideas of what I mean by that. And again, I will say this several times, it's not an exhaustive list. You guys probably have better ideas on how to get educated than mine, but here are mine. Number 1, read the Declaration, our Declaration of Independence, and understand what it says. Just don't read the words and check off the box like it's an action item. I mean, truly and deeply understand what the Declaration, is saying and probably some of the intentions behind the words. It's not very long. That doesn't take very long. Number 2 is read the Constitution of the United States or the Constitution of your country, and understand what it says. Again, the U.S. Constitution is not very long. It's shockingly short. They used few words, and I believe they intended to use few words. They didn't want to get into wordsmithing. They didn't want future generations to have too many words to start legally squiggling in and making a mess of it. It's clear cut, it's easy to read, and pretty much written in modern language, in my opinion. The third is to learn your municipality, and I mean town by that word, but your municipality, your county, and your state smoking laws. What are the laws that surround this community? Most of us don't know even what our home state smoking laws are. And the last one is learn what your municipality, county, and state gun laws are, including carry. Most of us have never taken the time to look up the codified code of your state laws. There's a gun section in every state law. There are websites that actually pull them all together and have active links, so you can go do that research. But educate yourself, get smart, move away from opinion-only based opinions, positions. And if you go out, my God, if you go outside and do some of these higher level things, you need to be educated on what you're doing. Level 4, start making changes. Start taking visible risks, and I mean outside of our community. So pledge to stop living scared, stop making decisions from a position of fear, pledge to stop living an intimidated life. Start showing your patriotism to the public. Fly your flag outside your house. Wear it. It's so easy to wear. And they make nice patriotic clothing. You wear the flag on your chest. You can wear it on the arm. You choose. You can see it right there, right there. There's my hat and my shirt that I wear on my apology video, and I'll wear it. I have no problem with that at all. And then start showing that your religion to the public. Scott over at Who's Your Marshal wears that In God We Trust hat. It's a nice hat. You can wear it anywhere. Wear those kind of things out in public. Let people know, however you choose to. I'm not telling you to wear his hat. I'm not even telling you to wear a hat. That's not, the concept is walk around in public so that people know that you're a man of God. Or whatever religion you are. I almost don't care anymore. But if you believe in the higher power, let people know that you believe that. It will help people feel more comfortable to do the same. Level 5 is stop being a member of the silent majority. And that's really that's the overall context. And these levels, you can move them around. Maybe you want to start doing these things in different orders. I don't really care. I'm just trying to spark thought, spark some, even some concern inside of you, and ways to address those fears and concerns. So level 5, stop being a member of the silent majority. So I have like some examples underneath that are speak up and speak out. From the comfort of your home, even from your current life, you can do this. You don't need to make a bunch of changes to do this. Speak up in support of the right to bear arms, constitutional carry, voter fraud, voter ID, being religious and believing in a higher power. When you're involved in a conversation and people are just massacring our belief system, speak up to it. Don't, shove down that fear of being labeled crazy or old or antiquated or behind the times or one of the crazies or, a right-wing monster or, you're the only one in the room. Why would you even think like that? Try to push all those fears down, because trust me, there will be other people from time to time who do actually believe what you're saying, and maybe you'll make someone else feel comfortable speaking it out as well. So level 6 is start taking formal external risks. And I think this is where a lot of us break down. So let me give you some examples. Study the agendas of your local city government. Study the bills that are proposed in your state government. Most states only are open for business for legislation for 1 to 3 months. Now there are examples of full-time state government and they legislate all year long. But like for the example for mine in Maryland, the Maryland legislature only sits for 90 days, May through March. The other 9 months they're off doing other things. Don't even want to get into what I think they do, but start truly understanding where these things are posted. And when you're local, most of these tear downs of our freedoms start locally, our county governments, our city governments, and our state governments. And then those states laws are then used by other states as example legislatures. And then lots of times the federal government will see what the states are doing and take it at a federal level. A lot of California laws are used as primers for federal legislation. So start write letters that clearly and cordially. That's the other thing is, don't write a whack job letter. Jim, don't let Patty whack write letters, right? But they state our position on specific items. Testify in person. Actually go to the courthouse and testify in the hearing. Go to the state house and testify in the hearing in support of your letter. Uncomfortable, because everyone has people that come and do that. So you have people that support and people that don't support, and it can feel really uncomfortable to stand up in public and say, this is my position. I'm completely against what you're doing, and here is why I believe it is wrong to pursue this legislation in a nice, cordial manner. And I think you'll find, I was county executive for 8 years. Good input from the public sways legislation more than you might think. Vote in person at your polling place. Don't fall into the laziness of absentee ballots or mail-in ballots. Like Maryland, once you register for an absentee, because a couple of election cycles ago I was here, so I voted absentee, and they just switched me to absentee ballot. It's so easy. I can download it. They email me the ballot. I print it. I check it, and I mail it in. Don't do that. Right? Go to the polling place, show physically that you're voting, and then become a polling place worker. And then the biggest objective is become a polling place watcher. Be there, volunteers one day, and make sure they know you're there, and make sure they know you're watching, and actually report what you to be wrong behavior, misbehavior, or absolutely fraudulent things that you see. So those are some things you can do to start taking those formal external risks. In level 7, I spent a lifetime doing this. This is not something you're going to accomplish by July 4th or Christmas or anything. This could take years to do. It took me, from my graduation from college to my true full-on independence, took me 33 years. And I know a lot of us don't have 33 years, but I just want you to know I walked my talk, and I'd like you to start at least building a plan that gives you some hope that you can be independent from the system. So, some examples: clear out your debt. Debt is the modern version of slavery. It doesn't know skin color or any other boundary, age, gender. It knows no boundary. It's a much more effective form of slavery than we've ever seen. Debt is slavery. So start clearing out your debt. Number 2 is take control of your spending. Society wants you wanting things, broke and financially hopeless. Like the whole system, all the marketing and what it means to be sexy and what it means to be desirable and what it means to be successful means acquire at any means possible, and just bury yourself in a load of debt that you just can never ever get out from under. Society, the modern society, the system wants you wanting, broke, and hopeless. Sell the things you don't need or can't afford. Get them out of your life. It's hard. That car that you love, but you really can't afford it, get rid of it. If if you're buried under a mortgage that you'll never get out from under it, consider selling and moving somewhere much smaller. I wrote down as number 4, get a plan in place. Get your hope back. Number 5 is get a job. Any job that you can do. It's just a start. It's as a start. Get your income rolling in. And then start a side business or a second gig or whatever. Become part of the gig economy. If you don't know what that means, it's the Uber driver, it's the Domino's driver, it's somebody who sells one-offs. Pipe makers are a good example. You've got a little mini business going, so you can write off a lot of expenses. It can change your tax return quite a bit, and it gives you a source of income that is not based on the system. All right, those are the 7 levels I came up with and what I capture in each of the 7. So really the last category that I want to talk to you about is risks. I labeled it risks of being a prisoner of the system. And so the main risk is that the system will come to you and say, do this or we will. And I've got several things. So I'm going to tell you what I mean by what are they going to ask you to do and what are the ramifications. So here are the things that they have already debated about stopping if you don't do what you're told. All right. And I have 4 examples. They'll call your mortgage due. And that's if you have a VA or Fannie Mae or any government-backed mortgage. They have the legal right to call your mortgage due, which means you have 30 days or 60 days to pay the mortgage or they seize your property. Right? It seems impossible, but I'm telling you, it's being debated right now. And a lot of you think you have private mortgages, but banks have sold most mortgages to some government-backed agency. Fannie Mae is the biggest. So you might want to check out who actually holds your mortgage. Who are you writing your check to? And is that mortgage, check with your bank, do they hold your mortgage? Because then that's not a risk, right? The risk is eventually they do sell it to a government-backed agency, and then you do have this risk. But you may not know who holds your mortgage. So that's the first thing I would do. They can also stop your government pension payments. They'll withhold them. They're not canceling you. They'll have some really jazzy wording in the bill that says, well, we're going to freeze or hold payments until you demonstrate that you accomplished X. That list is coming. They'll stop your government disability checks. They'll stop your Social Security checks. They'll freeze your Medicare or Medicaid benefits and payments. These are all things that are being debated as ways to make you more conform. They can only make this happen if you're a complete slave to the system. If you are wholly dependent on the government, your government, for your livelihood, you live in this bowl. I know you may be sitting here in disbelief, but I have some examples at the end here. So what are the kinds of things they can make you do or do these stoppages that I talked about? I have 2 examples. Get the mandated series of vaccines, all right? Already seen it done, right? We've seen show proof of getting the series or you can't work here anymore. And some of the most public ones we had were like the New York Fire Department fired every employee that didn't demonstrate. All the airlines did the same thing. So that's not a risk. That's an actual. Eventually, they're going to come out and say you have to do a series of vaccinations. I can't tell you for what, and I can't tell you for when, but I believe in my heart it's coming. The second one is, and this is going to sound insane, but I have some examples. They're going to say, but they'll say, hey, due to do the humane needs of the illegal immigrants. They'll call them, something else, but you have to take a family. You have to take an illegal family, an illegal immigrant family into your home, right? If you have a government-backed mortgage, they're already debating this. I know you say, well, they can't invade my home. Yes, they can. They hold your mortgage. So just those are the two big ones I just wanted to get out and get out, get out into our community as risks of being prisoners of the system. So the last thing I want to talk about as part of this is there are two examples. The guy who had a good video about it, his name's Jason. He's the Angry Prepper. I'll put a link to the video where he discusses this. But New York City is currently debating, and it may already be done now. They're saying for any illegal immigrant that has come into the state of New York, and we've heard about all the social support programs they're giving these people, the debit cards, the hotel room, the apartment. They were even closing VA administrative homes and kicking out the veterans and putting illegals in there. This is all fact. This is all happened. This is all history. But now the New York City has said we're going to stop supporting them after 30 days. So they'll get an apartment for 30 days. They'll get a hotel room for 30 days. They'll get the first debit card, and then all support to that family stops, and the next family comes in. And part of their debate is, where do we go to get support for these people that are coming off the government support roll? Well, guess what? They're talking about making it a requirement of the citizens to help the government support these humane programs. That's happening right now in the city of New York. And the second one I'll give you is Maine's. The state of Maine just announced a couple of days ago. So it's a bait and switch. Several years ago, Maine offered to all their landowners, hey, we'd like to offer you free sludge fertilizer. It didn't cost the farmer anything or the landowner anything. And so many farmers took it and had that sludge spread on their property. And it was true fertilizer, where great, helped the output of the farmer quite a bit. Well, now, several years later, Maine has said, if we inspect your property and find more than 40 parts per trillion of these certain poisons, substances, you can no longer produce any type of food for human consumption on that property. Well, guess where they started inspections? They started inspections on the list of farms and landowners who accepted the free sludge. And they're now issuing cease and desist orders to the farmers and the landowners who show more than 40 parts per trillion. And as part of this new bill, they've decided they should reduce that pollution count to 4, a factor of 10 reduced, a reduction of a factor of 10. So if you show 4 parts per trillion of any of these sorts of poisons on your property, you can no longer grow anything for human consumption. And the third part of the bill is Maine is coming out and saying, but there's a good part to this. We'll buy your property from you, and we're going to pay you $2,500 an acre, which is an order of magnitude below probably current price. So those are two examples. You might not think our government will never do that to its people, which is probably something you should never say ever again, by the way, of real life risks to people from their own government. And then you saw Trucker Pipe and Bob and Pat talking about their anger against, it may be a UK law, but it would probably be adopted by the European Union soon, to ban smoking from a certain age down. And it'll take, I think it's right now 2010 is what they were talking about. So anybody who's 14 years old and younger will never be able to smoke. It will be illegal. And I don't know how to advise fighting that other than through the standard legislative processes, but they've already done it. I hear a lot of bravado about, well, we'll just go to the black market, but are you willing to go to prison? Are you willing for your life to end so you can continue to smoke? Um, but as I said, it's an intergenerational law. So it's this generation passing a law for the next generation back. But I just really want to, if you dig down inside you, are you willing to go to prison to resist this sort of behavior? So guys, I've smashed all these little video bits together. We're at about 30 minutes, and I know it's about as long as anybody can take sometimes. So I'm gonna kind of end this. So guys, again, I just want to say, I know it's raw, and I know by me stating my concerns and stating my core beliefs and stating my ideas for kind of a 7-tiered ladder, um, it's open for a lot of criticism. It's easier to pick on an example than create one. So I realize the risk I've created for myself by doing this video, but it comes from the heart. It's not meant to offend anybody. It is meant to break chains around our brains and our thinking processes, and the life that surrounds us, I think, is much more under control than maybe we even realize. I just wanted to get that out there and start different ways of thinking, and hopefully people can change their lives and get more independent. I hope it works. Guys, that's it. I hope this lands in the way I intended to, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.